After I cured the Yandra female lead in a redemption story and made her normal, I planned to leave that world. She, with tear-filled eyes, wouldn't let me go. I hugged her and said, "Be good, okay? I'm just going to buy you some strawberries." Then I vanished. I never expected that 3 years later, I'd be pulled back into this world. The once pitiful Tanya had now become a powerful figure in New York's high society, practically a mob boss who could blot out the sky with one hand. She grabbed my wrist, threw me onto the bed, and wrapped a tie around me. Her voice soft as she questioned, "Those strawberries you owed me from 3 years ago. Tonight, do you want them planted on your neck or your face?" I closed my eyes, then opened them, closed them again, then opened them again. I repeatedly confirmed that what lay before me was indeed the familiar New York. Outside the five-star hotel, luxury cars and beautiful people were a constant stream. Flashes from cameras clicked and snapped, everything preparing for the Tanner Corporation's annual gala tonight. Me, I really was back. Damn it all. I squatted in a corner, motionless. The system urged, "Go find a female lead." "Host, what are you doing squatting there?" "Hatching an egg." The moment it spoke, I exploded. "Hatch an egg? I'll hatch you. Didn't we agree that once the mission was complete, I'd be done? Why am I back?" 3 years ago, I practically spat in Tanya's face to break up with her. And you wanted to go find her? Why don't you just ask me to die? Whose fault is that? Isn't it because you didn't do your job properly? You were gone for only 3 years, and Tanya went crazy. Who else would they call back but you? If you don't figure something out, forget the male lead. She's going to destroy this whole world. I was speechless. A few years ago, I took a commission to enter a redemption story and heal the unhinged female lead. Once I reformed her and returned her to the male lead, my job was done. I never expected that just 3 years after I left, she'd gone dark again. The kind who destroy the world at the drop of a hat. So, they summoned me back. As I squatted there, dazed, the system shrieked, "Host, look, the target has appeared." I looked up under the dazzling starlight. The spotlight, like flowing water, followed someone to the entrance. A white-gloved chauffeur opened the car door. The girl who stepped out had a blank expression, wearing heels and a cocktail dress, her calves fair and slender, radiating a powerful aura. She walked towards the venue, her assistant trailing nervously behind. I held my breath. Tanya, it had been 3 years. She looked much more mature, but her aura was even colder. People around were whispering, "Is that the current CEO of Tanner Corporation? Oh my God, with looks like that, why isn't she a movie star?" Don't talk nonsense. She was originally an illegitimate daughter. I heard she used ruthless, underhanded methods, sacrificing many executives to get to her current position. A movie star. My foot. I carefully shrunk further to the side. The next second, a scorching gaze cut through the crowd and landed on me. Tanya turned, her eyes sharp as she stared at me. The assistant asked, "What's wrong, Miss Tanner?" I swallowed nervously and lowered my head. Tanya paused for a few seconds, pursed her lips. Nothing. Then she strode into the banquet hall without looking back. The system berated, "Useless coward. If you don't go and acknowledge her now, when will you?" I rubbed my nose. Let's wait a bit. She looks really fierce right now. I feel like she'd slap me. Fiercer than 3 years ago when I left this world. 3 years ago, the male lead was about to appear. My mission was complete, and I could leave. To help me disengage, the system created a fake identity and a fake reason. It said my parents had gone bankrupt, and I needed to go abroad to lie low. At the airport, Tanya wouldn't let me go. She just held my hand, her eyes red, asking over and over, "How much money? Your parents? How much do they owe?" I couldn't break free, so I even hugged her. I lied to her. Just think of it as me going on a long trip to buy you strawberries. Okay, she hadn't gone crazy then. Why now? So full of murderous intent, just as the two passersby said. Tanya, the female lead of the story, was an illegitimate daughter of a wealthy family. Her father was a prominent figure in New York. A fleeting affair with his assistant resulted in a child. The assistant didn't want him to take responsibility, so she resigned and left with her pregnancy. She gave birth to Tanya in her hometown. But not long after, the assistant died of illness, and Tanya's parentage became public. She had to return to New York to find her father, and so she was acknowledged by the wealthy family. I thought, isn't this just a modern-day, wealthy family version of Cinderella? But she wasn't as lucky as Cinderella because no one in the Tanner family liked her. Relatives didn't let her eat at the main table. Her half-siblings bullied her, and even the maids could scold her, making her fight with the dogs for food. So when I transmigrated and met her, she was being ganged up on and beaten by her 5 older cousins in a corner. I used a large firecracker to scare off those brats, pulled Tanya up from the snow, and asked her, "Are you hurt?" Tanya's face was a mess of new and old scars. She clutched a handful of snow, staring blankly at the ground, silent. She was only a teenager then. In the dead of winter, her down jacket was soaked through and her neck was full of cold, wet snow, but she was unervingly calm. I thought for a moment and said, "I just moved in next door. My parents are business partners with your father. Do you want to come to my place and change your clothes?" I don't know which keyword caught her attention. Tanya slowly turned to look at me. Our eyes met. Her gaze was desolate and cold, like a blade hidden in the darkness. I was slightly taken aback and unconsciously loosened my grip. Her expression was indifferent as she said, "Scram." I began the long journey of winning her over. Tanya honestly wasn't easy to win over. To get close to her, I transferred to her school and her class. Only then did I realize that her weak, easily bullied demeanor in front of her family was half an act. The truth was she excelled academically and was a formidable fighter. She could rally followers with a single call and also beat down any challengers until they submitted. I was quite relieved. Good. She knows how to protect herself. The system cursed me. Good. My ass. In a few more years, she'll start killing people. Oh, right. My mission was to prevent her from developing an antisocial personality. So, I started trying to influence her. When the teacher formed study groups and she was left out, I immediately ran over and took her hand. "I could be in your group, Tanya." During the spring outing, when the teacher told everyone not to wander off alone, and she was again left out, I immediately ran over. "Let's stick together, Tanya. I can fight a kangaroo. You won't lose out by having me." First, Tanya ignored me. Later, when she got annoyed, she'd gift me with a few words like, "Scram, stop following me. Go play somewhere else." I didn't care much. If I couldn't influence her in a day or two, so be it. After all, there was still plenty of time. It would be a long while before she took back the Tanner Corporation, met the male lead, and completely went dark. I had plenty of time. So, over the years, through changing seasons, I followed her like a tail. With me around, she was no longer pinned down and beaten by her cousins. No one stepped on her face with their shoes anymore. No teacher falsely accused her of stealing at school or publicly humiliated her for having a mother but no upbringing. Later still, when she started her own business, I also helped her avoid a drug scandal, a scandalous headline, and humiliation from her family. She regained control of the company, and her career gradually got on track. Next, as long as she got together with the male lead, she would have a blissful life in every sense of the word. But why did she still go dark? I squatted on the ground, unable to figure out, but my legs were numb and I was hungry. I decided to sneak into the venue for some food first. Today was the Tanner Corporation's annual gala. Tanya sat at the main table with people toasting her round after round. She occasionally graced them by touching her glass, but mostly didn't drink. Across the crowd, I caught a glimpse of her indifferent expression. "Careless?" I asked. "She's already reclaimed the Tanner Corporation. She won't be bullied anymore. Why is she still unhappy?" The system replied. "How would I know? Go over and ask her." I didn't go, but I saw an intern go over. A young, shy face holding a glass of red wine with both hands. "Miss Tanner, I'm this year's intern. Mr. Roberts' son. Do you remember me? I'd like to toast you." Tanya propped up her chin, paused, then turned her head. There was no smile in her eyes. "Mr. Roberts?" "Yes. We met at the birthday banquet last year." "No impression," she interrupted. "I don't remember ugly people." The young man stood frozen. I shook my head inside. 3 years, and she's still so venomous. But where's the male lead? Why isn't she with the male lead? The system was silent. The next second, that intern surnamed Roberts lost his footing, stumbled, and spilled red wine on Tanya. Tanya, quick-witted, shielded her left wrist. A collective gasp went through the crowd. The assistant quickly pulled him away, cautiously. "Miss Tanner, are you all right?" "He didn't mean it. Let me accompany you to change your dress." Tanya's gaze swept over the intern, her expression turning gloomy, but she didn't lash out. She left with her assistant without a word. The tense atmosphere in the hall finally began to ease. I wondered why she was covering her left hand. A passerby overheard and kindly answered, "Oh, the bracelet her husband gave her. It's said to be a string of Buddhist beads. She treasures it, never lets anyone touch it. Her previous assistant was clueless and once spilled some water on it. She almost strangled the person. I, with a small cake in my mouth, froze on the spot. Husband, but the string of Buddhist beads on her wrist. I gave her that. I thought either the passerby was mistaken or the Buddhist beads she was wearing now weren't the ones I gave her." I sat in the hall, contemplating while furiously devouring 10 strawberry mini cakes. Once full, I randomly grabbed an employee wearing a name tag and asked, "Is there a guy named Ethan in your company?" Hearing the name, the person's expression became subtle. "Never seen him." They hastily threw down those 3 words and ran off. I grabbed a second person and asked the same question. "Have you seen Ethan?" Person B looked conflicted, hesitant, but also shook their head. No. I asked 5 people in a row, and all said they hadn't seen him. Strange. Ethan was the male lead, the future son-in-law of the Tanner family. He should have met Tanya 3 years ago and fallen head over heels in love with her. How could no one have seen him? I pondered, starting on my 11th strawberry mini cake. The lights in the venue suddenly dimmed. The host walked onto the stage, smilingly addressing everyone. "Our CEO, Tanya, is in a good mood tonight and wants to play a game with everyone. Now, could everyone present please close your eyes? I'll count to 15, then you can open them." All right. The lighting was very dim. I didn't know what they were up to, but the girls around me successively closed their eyes. I hesitated for a moment and closed my eyes too. The next second, I felt a familiar presence stop beside me. A hand forcefully gripped my wrist. "Chase." Tanya enunciated each syllable, her warm breath falling on my ear. "Is that you? Are you back?" My heart skipped a beat. My body recognized her presence before my mind did. I subconsciously tried to run. I'm not. Escape failed. The next moment, an overwhelming warmth enveloped me. Tanya buried her face in my chest. Her arms wrapped around my waist, holding me tight. "Chase." The lights were dim. Her voice trembled almost imperceptibly. "Don't move. Let me hold you for a bit." I was momentarily stunned, my mind buzzing, instantly panicking. I quickly reached out to push her. "No, Tanya. Be normal. Your boyfriend is watching." Although I had no idea where Ethan, who was supposed to be with her, was. The next second, where our skin touched, I felt a damp heat. She pulled open my collar and kissed my neck. Then, like a vampire, she took a small bite. "Chase." The humility in her voice had vanished. No one dares to mention the word boyfriend in front of me anymore, because everyone in the Tanner Corporation knows I only have one husband whose whereabouts are unknown. Her hand moved downwards, and she asked in a low voice, "You brought this up? Are you asking to be dealt with by me tonight?" I froze like a corpse, too scared to move a muscle. No. What did she mean? 3 years apart, and Tanya was back to talking about life and death. 15 seconds felt incredibly long. Tanya, like a ghost absorbing life force, finally, slowly let go after holding me enough. The lights in the front row came on, and a spotlight suddenly hit me. "Wow, surprise," the host announced gleefully. "It seems our lucky guest tonight has appeared. Our CEO, Tanya, has personally walked over to his seat to present him with tonight's special grand prize. 1. Dinner with the CEO. 2. A tour of the CEO's office. 3. A tour of the CEO's private collection of luminous watches at her home." All right, let's give him a round of applause. The entire venue erupted in thunderous applause. Passers-by cast looks of either sympathy or good luck. Me? I was utterly confused. Now, what kind of lucky guest is this? Shouldn't there be a draw? How about this? I'll give up my spot. Let's have a draw for everyone to liven things up. Wow, it seems our lucky gentleman tonight is so overjoyed. He started talking nonsense. The host interrupted. Quick, let our security team escort him downstairs to rest before I could object. Four burly bodyguards in black suits appeared from nowhere and swiftly escorted me out of the banquet hall. Tanya sat there nonchalantly adjusting her skirt. After a long moment, she stood up. Excuse me. Two bodyguards invited me to Tanya's CEO office. They pressed me into her office chair. I tried to get up. They pressed me back down by my shoulders. I tried again and was pressed back down again. Me, what was this all about? Tanya could have just kidnapped me directly. No one would dare object anyway. I tried to explain. It's a misunderstanding. Miss Tanner and I, we don't have the kind of relationship you're imagining. Actually, I'm her godfather, where you could understand it as I'm her father. Before I finished speaking, a hot and cold laugh came from the doorway. I sent my father to prison last year. He's still squatting there. Are you sure? I sharply looked up. Tanya. Her expression was indifferent. She gestured to the four bodyguards. Out. The four, resembling double-door refrigerators, nodded at her and withdrew from the office. Me weak, pitiful, helpless, sitting in the office chair, not daring to move, watching Tanya walk towards me, step by step. The CEO's office was on the 20th floor. Outside the huge floor-to-ceiling windows was the bustling cityscape of New York. Tanya unhurriedly removed the shawl from her dress as she walked. Then she started taking off her necklace. Then her watch. Alarm bells went off in my head. Tanya, what are you doing? Don't think I haven't read the original story. Every time the female lead makes this move, it means she's about to get intimate. The next second, she stopped in front of me. Both hands landed on the armrest of the chair, leaning in. Now you call me Tanya? Her voice was cool. Weren't you pretending not to know me in the hall just now? Her fresh scent pressed down on me. I tried hard to shrink back. No, I wasn't pretending. I was just passing by. You look so rich now. I didn't dare to recognize you. Is that so? Tanya clearly didn't believe me. Don't hide, Chase. Me? Where'd you been these past few years? Where had I been? After we parted at the airport 3 years ago, I never appeared again. After I left the world, Ethan was supposed to dilute Tanya's memories of me. So, I spent my days sunbathing on the beach and clubbing in bars. But I didn't dare say that. I mumbled, I've been on the run, secretly thinking of you every day. Tanya's hand paused. The system suddenly shouted, Host. Tanya's corruption level dropped by 1 point. Me? Are you trying to kill me? You didn't show up when I called you just now, and now you appear? System, keep up the good work, host. I really wanted to keep up the good work, but I completely couldn't understand what Tanya was thinking right now. I tentatively asked in a small voice, Tanya, are you doing well now? Tanya replied ambiguously, that's good. Then have you seen Ethan? Tanya's corruption level has increased by 10 points. Me? Damn it. I'm not playing anymore. I quickly grabbed her sleeve and blurted out, Ethan is my distant cousin. You know how my parents went bankrupt and fled the country, but my cousin's family is still here. Now that I'm back, I just wanted to ask if you've seen him, cousin. Tanya's lips curled slightly. Do you know that this cousin of yours used to work for my company? I know. I nodded repeatedly. I was the one who asked him to come. I told him, you're super nice, and if he followed you, you'd definitely take care of him. Tanya suddenly gripped my neck. Her touch was devoid of warmth. Say that again. I said you're super. Tanya lowered her head again and bit my shoulder. Enough. Are you a puppy? Tanya's reply was off topic. A cold laugh. You don't know if I'm a dog or not. It must have been hard for you, vanishing into thin air, but not forgetting to send a man my way. With that, she released the chair. Want to see Ethan? That depends on your performance tonight. Performance? Be good. Make me happy. She sneered. If I'm in a good mood, forget one cousin. I'll send 10 for you to meet. In the original story, the female lead was a Yandra. When agitated, she would do many irrational things like using ties, belts, handcuffs, and so on. So, the original male lead had also run away. Each time he was caught, he faced even more ferocity and intensity. When I came to my senses again, Tanya had taken me back to her place. A huge villa, brightly lit, built on a seaside cliff with nowhere to run. She wanted to take a shower without a word. I lay on her enormous bed, lost in thought. The performance she wants. It can't be the kind of performance I'm thinking of, right, system? I see the dirty thoughts in your head. Well, there's no other way. Why don't you give it a try? Try my ass. The female lead is supposed to be fiercely loyal and devoted to the male lead. Him, and only him. If I mess this up and she kills me, then what? From what I see, even if you don't mess up, she still wants to kill you. Host, what did you say to Tanya in the car? Why is her corruption level still rising? In the car, she was expressionless, motionless, and silent. I just kept chattering. For example, did you have a fight with Ethan? Boys are simple-minded. Just coax him a bit, and it'll be fine. Why aren't you talking? Don't you know how to coax? Let me teach you how to coax. Try calling me sweetie first. Let me hear it. System. The bathroom door clicked softly. Tanya, wrapped in a towel, had her silhouette curved on glass. System host, you're on your own. I shrieked. Wait, don't go. System. Tanya turned off the bathroom light. Step by step, she was already in front of me. I held my breath regardless of what was appropriate to think. Her figure was ridiculously good. Her hair wasn't dry yet. Water dripped down along her neck into the curves of her chest. She sat down expressionlessly on the edge of the bed and casually tossed a hairdryer at me. Dry my hair. I sat up and turned on the hairdryer. After blowing for a bit, I couldn't quite reach the top of her head. Lower your head a bit. Tanya didn't speak, but cooperatively lowered her head slightly. Me a bit lower. She lowered it again. Me still can't reach. Why don't you lie on the floor? The last two words remained unsaid. Tanya suddenly reached out and hugged me. Chase, she asked. Why did you leave me? What? Because I'm not the male lead. I shouldn't be with her. I threw caution to the wind. Because I don't like you. I waited for 2 seconds, but heard no system notification. Strange. This wouldn't make her corruption level rise. Tanya lay quietly on my shoulder, silent. I tentatively said again, because I'm poor, I'm not good enough for you. The system remained silent. Fine, I said loudly. Because of Ethan, system host. The female lead's corruption level is skyrocketing again. Me? No. So, what makes her corruption level skyrocket is Ethan. That night, in the end, Tanya did nothing. She didn't ask me to dry her hair again. She just quietly held my waist and slept all night. The next morning when I woke up, the bedside was empty. Downstairs, the maids greeted me gently when they saw me. Good morning, sir. Did you sleep well last night? A giant question mark appeared above my head. Sir, who is calling me? Me. You got the wrong person. Don't call me that. Maid. All right, sir. What would you like for breakfast? Me. Lobster, crab, and leopard coral grouper. Half an hour later, I was sitting in the dining room, slurping crab roe. By the 5th crab, Tanya returned. I thought all night, but couldn't figure out why the male lead would cause the female lead's corruption level to skyrocket, so I wasn't really in the mood to talk to her. I didn't move. Tanya took off her coat and walked straight towards me. Chase me. Change your clothes. Accompany me to a wedding this afternoon. You're a CEO now. Can't you even find someone to accompany you to a wedding? Who am I to you that you'd ask me? Since talking nonsense wouldn't make her go dark, I started giving random replies. Right? Tanya sneered. The person I like doesn't like me back. Are you going or not? If not, I'll break your legs. Me? I obediently changed into a suit. In the evening, as I accompanied her to the banquet hall, I rolled down the window of the sports car. The sunset was beautiful, the sea breeze moist. I didn't see Tanya's gaze resting on me from behind. The system suddenly prompted host. The female lead's corruption level has dropped. I wasn't interested. Another 1-point drop. Every time it rises, it's by tens or hundreds. What's the use of a 1 or 2-point drop? No, it's been dropping continuously since you changed your clothes. A guess suddenly formed in my mind. I turned back. Tanya. Tanya feigned a lazy lift of her eyelids. HM. Before she could react, I quickly grabbed her hand. Are you cold? Then our fingers intertwined. System. Holy crap. Her corruption level dropped by 30. Tanya was clearly stunned for a moment, but she didn't pull away. She averted her gaze. Cold. It's 82 degrees today. You can't be cold, I said with a grin. Then if I hold your hand, you won't be cold anymore. Tanya pursed her lips, silent. We walked hand in hand like that all the way. Half an hour later, the Cullinans stopped at the entrance of the banquet hall. I let go of her, was about to get out of the car, then suddenly remembered something and turned back. By the way, Tanya, I leaned toward her abruptly. She was caught off guard. I stopped just in front of her. Your dress is wrinkled. Let me fix it for you. My hands landed on her shoulders, very slowly smoothing her collar and hair. Our breaths mingled. Tanya held her breath. Her body stiffened. System host. The female lead's corruption level dropped by 80. Great. The drop is encouraging. Encouraging my ass. Is it possible that my guess was confirmed? I was relieved and also resigned. The person Tanya likes is me. Tanya was the first person I was assigned to after binding with the system. My goal was to help her establish a correct worldview, let her feel the warmth of humanity, and prevent her from becoming a psychopath. Nothing else. So, I was very careful about boundaries. I always kept a distance from her and never did anything out of line. The only thing that was a bit much was perhaps when we parted, I hugged her. She couldn't have fallen for me just because of a hug, right? Full of confusion, I followed Tanya into the banquet hall and was astonished. Holy crap, Tanya said faintly. What? I pointed at the names on the wedding photo, stammering. Ethan is getting married. The groom is Ethan. You brought me to Ethan's wedding today. Tanya, unfazed. Otherwise, shouldn't he be marrying you? My outburst was loud. Tanya didn't react much, but it startled a circle of people around us. They turned their heads at the sound, didn't recognize me, but recognized Tanya beside me. They came up one after another to exchange pleasantries with her. Miss Tanner, how have you been lately? Tanner Corporation's stock has risen again, all thanks to Miss Tanner's capable management. Tanya, expressionless, replied indiscriminately. My husband is doing well, taking good care of me. You're pretty good at random replies, too. But I quietly leaned closer to her. The husband you're talking about? It's not me, is it? Tanya glanced at me. What's wrong with your brain? Humiliating myself, I calmly retreated. The wedding began. I sat at the main table with Tanya. No one at the table had seen me before, but they didn't seem curious either. Their gazes towards me were full of approval and blessings. During the toasting segment, I proactively pulled Ethan aside. Ethan, dressed in a suit, stood beside the original story's female supporting character, who was also a CEO, but a million times nicer. They looked very much in love. He was stunned for a moment, then smiled at me. Hello, you must be Miss Tanner's husband, right? I often hear Miss Tanner mention you. You look even better than her drawings of you. This sentence contained too much information. I pulled him aside. How could I be Miss Tanner's husband? You're Miss Tanner's husband. Ethan looked completely bewildered. Huh? He wasn't a transmigrator. He had no memory of this novel. I tried to explain. Well, you know Tanya too. Don't you feel a deep connection every time you see her? Like your souls are resonating and every cell in your body is screaming to be close to her? In the original story, that's how the male lead felt about the female lead. He couldn't leave her, not even for a second. Ethan recalled for a few seconds, quite seriously. It seemed there was such a phase like I was possessed, but it passed quickly. Because Tanya is too fierce. She's terrifying. Ethan, I was her assistant for a month. At first, I found her very attractive, but later I discovered her temper was frighteningly bad. I accidentally spilled water on her Buddhist beads, and she flew into a rage, told me to get lost, and asked if I had ideas about her. She said she was waiting for her husband to come back. I was having nightmares every day, afraid to even step into the office. I really had no choice, so I consulted a master. He said, Miss Tanner and I had a mysterious, irresistible force connecting us, making us meet repeatedly. But it was okay. This kind of curse could be broken. He gave me lots of talismans. Look, saying this, he rolled up his sleeve, revealing 8 neatly arranged crystal bracelets. The master also gave me this. I've been wearing it ever since. Later, I smoothly resigned, got away from Miss Tanner, and also found my beloved. Me? My silence was deafening. What was this one kind of mysticism defeating another? Ethan grabbed my hand and smiled. You're back. Miss Tanner's temper will get better, he said. After all, during the time you were gone, Miss Tanner waited for you every single day. From Ethan's perspective, the story went like this. Tanya was his boss, and he was inexplicably attracted to her. But he soon discovered that CEO Tanya was merely competent at work. Her temper was atrocious, and she had a husband, whom she mentioned every other sentence. Her daily routine included telling subordinates, "My husband doesn't allow me to hit people," and to competitors, "My husband told me to talk less to idiots." Ethan noted in his little book, CEO Tanya is totally lovesick. However, not long after, he discovered that hardly anyone in the company had ever seen CEO Tanya's husband, and he began to doubt. Did CEO Tanya's husband really exist? Could he be a figment of her imagination, like some fictional ideal? Then he accidentally spilled water on Tanya's Buddhist beads and got yelled at. The next day, while he was feeling down, Tanya, expressionless again, summoned him, "Come here." Ethan humbly walked into the CEO's office. He saw CEO Tanya sit down coldly and announced loudly, "I'm sorry, Ethan." Tanya's expression was unnatural. "My husband doesn't allow me to scold people. I scolded you yesterday, so I apologize, Ethan." However, she paused, then continued, "I also consulted a master yesterday. He said, you and I have a karmic bond from past lives, a match made in heaven, but I already have a lover, so it's impossible for us to be together. To avoid any future misunderstandings my husband might have about us, starting today, I will issue a new rule prohibiting company employees from mentioning your name. If you still want to work here, please understand. If you don't want to continue, I'll give you a severance package of N plus 6 months' salary, and you can leave." Ethan replied, "Miss Tanner, I quit. But I have one more impertinent request. Where did you find that master? Could you let me see him too?" Then Ethan quickly visited the master, broke the curse, and resigned. He met the second female lead and fell head over heels in love. "My wife and Miss Tanner are good friends," Ethan said. "Only after I started dating my wife did I learn that Emma Tanner's husband really exists." The second female lead showed him an old picture saved on her phone, a sketch he didn't know when Tanya had drawn it. A boy in a blue and white school uniform t-shirt was sleeping slumped over a desk. The classroom window was open. The pages of the workbook under his cheek rustled, and a pen rolled onto the floor. Summer cicadas chirped in an endless stretch of green camper trees. The second female lead told Ethan, "This is Tanya's husband." Ethan asked, "Where is he now?" The second female lead shook her head. "I don't know. Did they break up?" "Not exactly." She didn't know how to describe it. "He disappeared. They looked for him for a long time, but couldn't find him. Then, I don't know if that boy will ever come back." The second female lead thought for a moment and said, "Tanya is working so hard now, drinking, trying to make the Tanner Corporation bigger, also hoping that one day, if he ever looked back, he would see her. Chase might return tomorrow, or he might never return. But Tanya would wait here, always wait." After hearing this, my heart felt like it was being squeezed. So during the 3 years we were apart, Tanya had been waiting for me, even without hope. Even though her master had likely also divined that I was from another world. Bidding farewell to Ethan, I returned to Tanya's side. Her aura was so cold that everyone around had gotten up to toast elsewhere. No one dared sit next to her. I called out, "Tanya." She lazily lifted her eyelids. "Finished chatting with your cousin?" I asked her, "Do you like me?" If you ask me again if there's something wrong with my brain in that insincere tone, there won't be a next time. I'll go back to Los Angeles to beg on the streets right now. Tanya closed her mouth. "When did you start liking me? Why didn't you tell me?" I recalled. Was it because the scone I baked was particularly delicious? Or because when the teacher falsely accused you of stealing, I was the only one who stood up for you? Oh, or maybe it's simply because I'm good looking. Even Ethan praised me for being handsome. Tanya's face was cold. "Why don't you go ask Ethan? I see you like him a lot." Can't go 3 sentences without mentioning him. He is indeed cute and likable. Ouch. My face was pinched. "Okay, I won't talk about him." I instantly turned into a sycophant. "You're the cutest. You're the cutest." She pinched even harder. Ow, ow, I mumbled. I don't like him. I like you the most. Tanya chuckled. She loosened her grip slightly, then stood on tiptoe and gave me a peck. A light touch. The warmth was gone as soon as it came. My ears turned red. The whole world knows I like you. Only you don't, she said, feigning fierceness, but without any real threat. Now that I've stamped you, you're mine. You can't run away, Chase. Just as I guessed. In the 3rd year after I left, an exhausted Tanya found that master fortune teller. After looking at her, the master asked, "Do you believe in fate?" Tanya shook her head. The master said, "That's right. You are a child of destiny. You don't need to care about anyone's fate. But I lost my lover. He's not from this world. He won't come back." Tanya was silent for a long time, her lips pale, then said, "All right." She swayed as she stood up. The master quickly gestured like Air Kong, calling her back. "But if you pay more, there are ways." A few months later at the annual gala, I descended from the heavens and appeared by her side. On the way back, the night flowed like water. I played with the pinky ring on Tanya's hand and asked her, "So starting 3 years ago, you told everyone in the company that I was your husband?" "Mm. And you even showed them my picture?" "Mm. You had a crush on me for so long, but didn't even dare to say you liked me. You colluded with so many people at the annual gala just to trick an innocent young man like me. Have you no shame?" Tanya looked up and bit my lip. The kiss was so sudden that when we parted, my mind was blank. Where was I? She was very certain. "You were talking about why you disappeared for 3 whole years. Oh, right. Do you know about the system? I was a dead person. In my original world, I had already died. After death, I bound with this system. The mission reward was to live a few more years." Tanya listened quietly throughout. After I finished, I thought she would ask, "During the time you were guiding me, did you ever fall in love with me?" But she didn't. She was silent for a long time, then only asked, "During those 3 years apart, were you okay? Did your parents really owe a lot of money? Did the creditors find you?" I shook my head. "No, I was doing very well." Tanya looked at me deeply. Suddenly, she said softly, "Chase, I went to Los Angeles looking for you. I didn't find your family, but I found one of your relatives. He couldn't tell me your whereabouts, so I beat him up. Then he changed his story and said, your parents owed too much money and sold you into prostitution for $100 a pop. Me? I didn't believe him, so I broke 2 of his fingers. Then I turned the red light district upside down, but still couldn't find you." It was from that point on that she began to use the unseen underground power of the Tanner Corporation. Step by step, she became the formidable CEO Tanya that everyone later feared. I hugged her tightly. "He lied to you. I'm fine. The world I was in is similar to this one, just without you." Tanya chuckled. "Chase, do you like me?" I hesitated for half a second, then nodded frantically. "I like her. Ever since my school days when I met her, I liked her. But she belonged to the male lead. I studied with her, attended classes, had study sessions, played basketball games. Every time she approached me, a voice in my heart would be counting down. She's about to go back to the male lead. In a few years, she'll forget you. Someone better will appear by her side. She won't need a clown like you." Thinking about it, I started to feel sad again. I pinched Tanya's face. "Good thing Ethan doesn't like you. Otherwise, I wouldn't be able to be with you. Ethan is so good. Ethan is an angel." Tanya smiled and bit my lip again. "Say Ethan's name one more time and see what happens." That night, back at her villa, I didn't sleep. I stayed up all night. As dawn approached, I asked Tanya, "What's wrong with you? You're even jealous of Ethan. We haven't seen each other for 3 years, and you don't ask me anything. Just talk about Ethan nonstop." She sneered, pulling off her tie. "Hands out." I didn't extend them. She dragged me over. "What did you say at the airport that year?" Tanya said slowly, pretending to recall. "Oh, you were going to buy me strawberries. It's been 3 years. Not a ghost of a strawberry in sight," she chuckled. "But it's okay. We can plan our own, can't we?" Her fingers moved downwards, her voice soft. "It can appear on the neck, the waist, and also—" I shrieked. I slept very soundly. When I woke up, the sunlight was bright, and outside the floor-to-ceiling windows, the sea was vast and calm. The system prompted, "Host, The female lead's corruption level cleared to 0 this morning. I replied punctually, The system hesitated for a moment, then asked, Host, do you want to stay in this world? My mind slowly calmed down. For every mission I complete, the system rewards me with 10 years of life. If I stay, I might not live very long either. I said, no rush. Let me think about it. In the evening, Tanya came home and went straight to the bedroom. Chase wasn't there. She walked to the balcony. Chase wasn't there either. Tanya asked the maid, Where's the master? The maid replied, The master went out for a bit this afternoon. I didn't notice if he came back. Tanya was stunned for a moment, turned around, and started making a call while walking out. Chase. The busy tone had just sounded twice when the living room door opened. As soon as I entered, before I could react, I felt a small dark shadow rush into my arms. Where did you go? Tanya's voice trembled. She hugged me tightly, her head buried in my chest, motionless for a long time. I gently patted her. Tanya, I didn't leave. Too late. Explanations are useless. Her voice became watery. You went out and didn't even ask me to come with you. She couldn't even form threatening words anymore. I found it amusing and a little heartbreaking. I bent down and kissed her cheek. I won't leave. I want to buy you something. I don't know how much longer I can live. I pointed to the little corgi yapping in the cage at my feet and said, So, I thought, why not get you a dog? Maybe it'll live longer than I do. You look so lonely, Tanya. Don't be so lonely anymore. In my original world, I died in a fire. When a fire broke out, my parents could only save one person, and they chose my younger brother, not me. My family was actually quite wealthy, and my parents were open-minded. But it was strange. Ever since I was young, whether at school or at home, I was never the one who was firmly chosen. Before I met Tanya, I never thought someone would wait for me. Even with the male lead around, she still waited for me. So living a few years less doesn't matter, right? I said, holding the corgi. Being with you 10 years is worth 80. Tanya was silent for a long time, then asked, Can I talk to your system? The system came online in a second. Of course, my dear child of destiny. Tanya looked at the air and said word by word, I want to give 49% of my lifespan to Chase's system. Are you sure? I asked. You calculate it. However you divide it is fine. I want to live one day longer than him. I was quite moved. Hearing that last sentence, I laughed again. What are you doing? Being so precise with the numbers. Tanya looked at me deeply, silent. System. All right. Lifespan setting effective immediately. With that, the system went offline. In a vast living room, the evening light spread across the sparkling sea. The little corgi yapped. I leaned over and hugged Tanya. She hugged me back. After a long time, she said in a muffled voice, Watching a loved one leave is too painful, too lonely. Chase, if we must face death one day, next time, let me be the one standing still watching you depart. After that day, the system never appeared again. Tanya and I were both very open-minded. Live if we can. If not, so be it. It doesn't matter. But Tanya still felt very insecure. She had long since paid off my parents' debts and redeemed all the house's mortgages to the court, but she still felt it wasn't enough. One day, she woke up startled from a dream. Chase. I rubbed my eyes. Tanya said seriously. Let me transfer all my money and stocks to you. Me? It's 3 o'clock in the morning. What are you doing? She said, The reason you disappeared last time was lack of money. I'll give you all my money. Next time, even if you want to leave, you can't use this reason anymore. A week later, I found myself staring at the countless zeros in my account. I thought, fine, as long as you're happy. Other than that, we didn't have much else going on. Every day was spent in a frenzy, oblivious to the world. Until the wedding day, Tanya was waiting next door for me to change. Suddenly, I heard a light ding in my head again. System host, there's something I forgot to tell you. Our missions are divided into basic and advanced. Basic missions reward 10 years of life, but advanced rewards are 10 times that of basic. The basic mission was to make Tanya a normal person. The system paused, then said, The advanced mission is to make both Tanya and Ethan happy. I was stunned. I caught a glimpse of Tanya's shadow at the door. Hair like a waterfall, a long white dress holding a bouquet, like a teenage girl during a class break, impatiently waking me up. Class is starting. Wake up. Her gaze shifted away. Then she couldn't help but look at me out of the corner of her eye. She's deliriously happy now, the system said sourly. So live it up, you two pains in my neck. On a bright spring day, I adjusted my cuffs and walked towards her. Tanya, she turned, smiled lightly. Chase, the winter was long and you walked such a long, distant road. Yet still no one loved you. But she is here. She is waiting for you. She will always wait for you. Epilogue about the corruption level. One day after their marriage, Chase suddenly had an idea and teased Tanya. Did you know I can see your corruption level? Tanya raised an eyebrow. The system has already left this world. You can still see it occasionally when it skyrockets or plummets. The system urged Sis. Chase rubbed his hands together and leaned close to Tanya's ear. Babe, I lied to you before. Those years we were apart, I wasn't single at all. I had several relationships. I've been with all shapes and sizes. The girls were all so shy. Their ears would turn red with just a touch. So cute. Tanya didn't speak, her hand resting on Chase's waist, smiling. Her corruption level instantly maxed out. And then that night, he ended up pulling an all-nighter again. The next morning, the corruption level dropped again. The system far away received a collapse warning and rushed back overnight, only to find that nothing had happened. The system just played you. Who can outplay you? Just drive me to an early grave, you